Hey guys, welcome back to Day-to-Day Chess. This is Sabina. There are so many tournaments taking place these days that it's so tough to actually choose one particular game to analyze for you guys. So with Qatar having finished and with a wonderful win of Magnus Carlsen, and I really hope you enjoyed my previous two videos of his games. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to go back and check those wonderful games in Qatar Masters. During this time also there was another very strong chess tournament taking place in Al Ain, and that tournament was won by Wang Hao. Hopefully, soon I'll be able to choose some of those games and analyze for you guys. He has kind of, he just went through the event kind of keep beating everybody. He finished the tournament with 8 out of 9, and he won the tournament one round before the end. So definitely a very a wonderful performance by Wang Hao. And these days, the top tournaments taking place are Rilton Cup and Hastings. Who hasn't heard about Hastings? It's one of the oldest tournaments still being organized. It has a big history. This is, I believe, the 91st edition, so definitely if you haven't started checking out the games there yet, they have already finished 3 rounds, so I'm going to be sure to focus on some of those games as well. And, well, with those 2 tournaments taking place, of course, I've decided to choose none of the games from each of them, and I apologize about that. They will come, I promise, they will come. But for the moment, we have a saying in Romania that you shouldn't let something that you can do today for tomorrow. And there is something that I had promised you I will be covering and I haven't covered. So I've decided to go back and do a little report on what, do you think? On the European Rapid and Blitz Chess Championship. If you guys remember, about a week and a half or so ago, I have prepared this beautiful plan and I stick to it till the last 2 days. And then 2 of the days I was unable to prepare the material, and so it just kind of went away. And I'm going to apply the same statement that we have in Romania, but for years, so I don't want to leave this year knowing that there is something that I should have done and I promised that I'll do and I haven't done. So here it is. You already, you can see on the screen the standings of each of the 2 events, the top 3 players. You can find out more information on this website, and I'm going to post it in the description below as well. So in the Blitz Championship, Rauf Mamedov won the event with 18 out of 22. He shared technically with the second place finisher Boris Savchenko, but because of tiebreakers, Rauf Mamedov finished first. And then the third was Alexander Riazantsev, another very strong chess player. All of them, congratulations to all. It's definitely a great achievement. It wasn't as strong of a tournament as the World Championship, of course, but so many top 26 and over 100 chess players have been playing. Okay, and in the Rapid, I thought it was a little bit of a surprise. Popov Ivan won the event with 10 out of 11, and I think he had a wonderful tournament. I definitely recommend you checking his games in this event. You're going to be impressed. And then Hrant Melkumyan finished second, and the third was Vadim Razin. So these are the top 3 finishers for each of the events, the Blitz and the Rapid. I definitely recommend you to check some of the games, although they are faster than the regular ones. There's still so much to learn, and of course you can get to enjoy the blunders that top players made. It's not often that you see them in normal games, so when there are Rapid and Blitz games played, you can definitely feel good when you're finding something that they missed, hopefully. So enough with the introduction. Let's go get to check out some of the games. And what I've decided to do for today is to kind of mix the tactics and the game. So for the tactics, I have chosen a couple positions from Rauf Mamedov's games in the Blitz, And then I have chosen one game of Ivan Popov's just to go through. It's a very nice dynamic attacking game, so I think you're going to enjoy it. At the end, of course, there's a little bit of tactics as well. Okay, so let's get started. So the first position that I want to show you was this one, and it was happened in the game between Melkumyan and Mamedov. And just look at this position and try to evaluate it. It seems that, and this doesn't seem, it's obvious that black has a pawn up, right? But white does have the bishop pair. So additionally, white's last move was queen takes e4, and now white is looking at this e7 pawn to capture back, and then maybe d6 will fall. So in this position, a natural, response for black would be to try to get this knight into play, because in a2 it doesn't do very much. So probably a natural response would be knight c3, and after queen takes e7, black would consider going queen a1, and threatening some knight e2. Of course, black has to push. Then we can give some check, king g2, maybe queen a8, and I believe we can, this position should finish, is about equal. But Mamedov decided to play, after queen takes e4, he decided to play queen e1, which unfortunately doesn't work as well as queen a1. Why is that? Because black had the opportunity of just capturing the pawn. Like we said earlier, this was the threat. And now if black is playing knight c3, once again g4, and you have this check if you want, but after this, king g2, you don't have checks anymore. And what you could do is try to utilize this pin and capture the pawn in d4, but after queen takes f7, it seems that it is black who is in trouble with their king, not white. So in this position, white is just getting ready to win. And so that is the reason why queen e1 was a mistake by Rauf Mamedov. However, Melkumyan didn't see this, and in this position he went on playing queen d3. He was probably afraid of this knight c3 and tried to not to stop knight c3, because that cannot really be stopped, but to just control the e2 square. And what happened? Please be sure to pause the video and try to find what happened. Okay, so it's not that difficult, actually. I kind of gave you the hint. Knight c3 happened. And even if you are stopping me from playing knight e2, you're not stopping me from improving the position of my knight. And now I can just look forward to pushing my pawn towards queen. And white played g4 here, and after b4, it seems that queen c2 was played, so I'm not 100% sure if here white resigned or they lost on time, but definitely in this position, all Rauf Mamedov has to do is just play knight b1, and then the knight is going to come to d2 and help the push of the pawn, and additionally you have trouble there, so I can just make sure I capture. When you're going to play queen d3, I'll just trade everything and then push my pawn towards promotion, and that's it. So this was the first game that I wanted to show you. A miss by Melkumyan, to try to have a winning position. From a winning, he got to lost position, and Rauf Mamedov utilized it immediately. Good. Another position that I want to show you that's a little bit strange that it happened is this position. And I'm gonna give you white because Mamedov had white in this position with Popov, but not Popov Ivan. Another Popov, and in this position, what do you think about this position? I mean, to me it seems once again about equal. White has the bishop, but it doesn't really help very much, although black's king is kind of weak. It's going to take some time for white to bring their pieces. So in this position, black should probably go queen takes a2, and I want to win some more pawns. You cannot obviously take the knight because your queen is hanging. And knight c6 is another possibility. We really need to get with the queen out from this pin to be able to use both of the pieces. Unfortunately, Popov in this position played rook takes c5, and he either lost on time or he resigned. Well, let's say he lost on time, but he still lost in this position. Can you find white's continuation in order to win this game? So hopefully you did. The continuation that I hope Rauf Mamedov would have seen would be this knight g5. And now it's inevitable that white is going to play queen h5 and have some mating threats. And it's pretty much impossible for black to stop that. And let's just say you play h6 to chase my knight away. Now I can just sacrifice. Queen f3 check. Wherever you go, my queen comes to, well, not exactly wherever you go, but if you go to e7, my queen comes to f6, gets that pawn and that knight and the pawn and everything is hanging. And if you try to go somewhere else, maybe king e8, simply queen g4. Once again, many pieces in black's position are hanging, and white, I forgot one, and white seems to be winning. So another, I think, very cute tactics that happened. It's actually, it didn't really happen, but I thought I'd share it anyways. And the third position that I have, and the last position, they're kind of easy things. It might seem that they're very easy things, but if you check Rauf Mamedov's games, you're going to see his attacking dynamic style, and that's what I like about him. He sees all the tactics possible in the position, and he's that type of player who tries to utilize, specifically if he plays against weaker players. I know from my own experience how tough it was. I was there fighting for 6 hours, and then at the end I messed up. So he's that type of player that's just very, very dynamic and attacking, and he sees most or all of the tactics that's happening. So this is kind of to give you a hint of checking some of his games. You are not going to be disappointed. Okay, so good. Here is the last position that I have from his games. Again, this position actually happened in a game that he played with white against Belarus Vladimir. And seems about equal, right? I mean, white is slightly better because they have the bishop pair and the passed pawn far away, passed pawn. And so probably for black in this position, they would, in order not to be doing very badly, they should play knight e6. And it seems natural that knight doesn't do much. This rook needs to get into play. Just simply play knight e6 and afterwards rook d8. That's basically what I think black had to continue in this position. Just improve the position of the knight and bring the rook into play. Well, unfortunately, black didn't do so. In this position, black played g5. Can you guys find Mamedov's continuation in this position? Well, I think you did. A simply beautiful bishop takes g5, because of course you cannot capture back due to rook takes e5. And whenever you play king d6, check. And you're losing a piece. Obviously, after bishop takes g5, Belarus didn't capture back the bishop. It would have been kind of silly. He played knight d2 f7, protecting his knight and attacking the bishop. But here, with the pawn up, it was not hard for Mamedov to transform this game, to convert this game into a win. So that's all I had, all the tactics that I kind of picked from Mamedov's games. So I really hope you enjoyed it. It wasn't very much, but kind of to get you in the mood for the next game that I have prepared for you, and I thought it was really awesome. This is the game between Popov Ivan and Smirin Ilya. So this was the last round of the competition, and this brought basically Ivan Popov the title of European Rapid Champion. So he has white, and he has put the setup of a monarchy, queen c7, bishop e2, and we have seen these ideas before. Queen d3. So far, so good. And here, of course, black just developed a piece. This is still a theory. Knight takes c6, d takes c6. Of course, b takes c6 is another possibility in this position. But probably white would still react a3 here. So you have to go back with the bishop, and you have to be finding a way to make sure you can play d5. But with these two pawns here, it's kind of tough. So black is better off capturing with the d pawn to make sure the pawn structure is symmetrical in a way, not to remain with the d6 weakness or the pawn backwards. Okay, so a3, and Smirin went bishop e7. I mean, this seems like a normal position, right? Good. So from here on, Ivan Popov started his attack. Good. f4. He didn't hurry to make a castle, which, you know, if you're listening to my, if you're watching my videos, you probably got used to the idea that I always say you have to finish your development, you have to castle, don't let your king in the center. And now I'm showing you exactly a game where white is not doing what I'm telling you guys to do. But there is a specific reason he doesn't do that. You see there's just one file open at this point in the position. So black also is not very, has not finished their development, so they still need some time to finish their development. That's why white can afford to start going to attack with f4. Additionally, this is a Sicilian. So Sicilian is kind of one of those exceptions where things are getting crazy. Okay, and here black's response was e5, which I think was dubious. I don't think black has to play this move. I think they should focus on playing on the queen side by playing b5 here and trying to develop the bishop in b7, waiting a little bit longer to castle. And here, if white would play, let's say, some queen g3, now we can castle, because, of course, there was a threat. Any e5 will go knight d7, and this knight will get back into play either through c5 or through b6. There's not that much to worry about that knight. We can also capture in c4 first, and then knight b6, d5. But e5 seems a little bit dubious to me, and here's how Ivan Popov reacted. Queen g3. Little threat, little threat. What do you do? He played g6, Smirin. And after this, white seems to be getting a really, really nice position. I was trying to check this position with the computer, and the computer suggests h5 here. Which I thought was interesting because we can capture in g7, but now there's rook g8, and black gets some activity, can now castle long. g2 probably will be falling at some point, and this queen is totally out of play. And if white doesn't capture in g7, white could play f5. That's why I was a little bit, surprised that the computer suggested this h5, because after f5 the position positionally seems to be in white's favor. I mean, I blocked this pawn in e5, so your bishop is going to be out of play. I will be able to play some b3 or b4, bishop b2. Technically, if I could, make sure I bring my king to safety and then keep my pawns a3, b4, c5, and the bishop in b2, definitely white would have a great advantage. Obviously, that's not that easy to make happen, but at least b3, bishop b2, start putting pressure. At some point, you have c5 in mind. How is black going to do? What is black going to do with this bishop? I feel that this position, if you're just thinking from the positional point of view, is just much better. So after g6, let's just enjoy a beautiful game. Capture. The knight has to go. Good. I'm not giving you the pawn back. Bishop f4. g5. Okay, bishop e3. Of course, black has to capture back their pawn. Knight takes e5. Maybe with the queen was a better choice, but I think, having seen a couple of games of Ivan Popov, probably he wouldn't have traded queens. He would have played queen f2 first. But castle is just as nice, I think, because then we have bishop d4 idea. and you know, focusing on black's weaknesses on the king side. But anyways, Sumerian captured with the knight, bishop d4. Well, you don't have that many ways of protecting that knight, so f6. You need to make sure you're strengthening the position and try to bring your king to safety. But unfortunately, here comes a check. King f8. And now it's time to castle, okay? So we are castling here. And not only are we castling, we're also bringing the rook into attack, threatening the knight, because the knight is pinned, so we want to take it. King g7. Okay, let's continue the attack. That's why I like this game so much, because black basically stayed underdeveloped, and white, although it looked like they are not going to be ready with the development, they finished it up really fast, and now they can just start opening up files, utilizing this pin and this one. So putting pressure, trying to get this pawn away from there. Rook g8. This move, I love this move. It's just really nice. Bishop f7. I didn't see it when I was checking the game. Bishop f7, and of course, you know, when you take, which is what happened in the game, which was a mistake. Black had to just give away the exchange just by playing queen d6, protecting f6, making sure nothing. Sorry. No, actually, this doesn't work. I'm so sorry, because rook d1 and black has troubles. I thought there was a defense. I had the wrong analysis. This doesn't happen to me very often. Okay, so maybe h6 black had to play and just give away the exchange and not to fall into the tactics here on the f-file. But when you're playing a rapid game, you really don't have that much time to think about all the possibilities. So king takes f7, it's kind of out of hand, you have to play it. Okay, thank you very much. This was my idea. Queen b6 check, no worries. The king goes to h1. And now there's a problem in f6. So, of course, black tried to defend it with rook g6. How do we continue? Well, very simple. h5. Like, just using every single move possible with tempo, utilizing this pin. Bishop e6, c5. Sorry. Queen takes c5. No, takes. He wanted to kind of attract the queen, didn't want this bishop to come to c4 to attack the rook, so the rook is doing really well on the f-file. H takes g6, bishop takes f6, bishop takes, okay, time to bring another piece into attack. And also, by the way, you have to be careful now that the h-file has opened, maybe there will be some mates. Check, queen e7, and what else to do? I mean, if you go on the 8th rank, you're going to lose the bishop, and there's no mate because the king would just close the action of the rook. So in this position, I hope you can find the continuation that Ivan Popov chose. Rook takes f6, rook f1 check. Using every single tactical idea in this game. That's why it's just I chose this game for you guys. Bishop f5 is the only opportunity unless you want to give away the queen. And of course, trading the queen. And now white just stayed with a piece up. Some more moves have been played in this game, but really, with a piece up, it's kind of tough not to be able to win. And once the rooks got traded off the board and king f2, Ilias Mirin resigned. So a great game by Ivan Popov, a nice attacking game. I really hope you enjoyed the video for today with my wrap-up of both the Rapid and the Blitz, European Rapid and Blitz Chess Championship. I'm looking forward to hearing back from you if you have any questions about anything or any ideas that you would like to see more next year. Of course, there's one more day, so hopefully you're watching this and giving me some feedback of what you would like to see tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a great day and Happy New Year to those who will get in the new year before me. Bye.